What's up, y'all? No. Okay, this is what's that? This is basically. Hope y'all can hear me. Basically, this is like I'm gonna talk about. I don't want to make it too long, but it's probably gonna be a part two. Um, basically, how it seemed. I don't know if my other sisters dealt with it as much as me. I have four sisters, or anybody. I know a lot of people have been, for some reason, it's very, 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 very common where I'm from or just in this country or something. I've been bullied in abuse by adults, different types of abuse. I don't know if I can say that word on here or not, but and bullied in school. So, yeah, my city, Oakland, where I'm from, I'm like the fourth of five girls on my mom's side. Well, my dad so far don't have no other kids. But she had two daughters. My two older sisters is from her previous husband, when she was like in Detroit or whatnot. And this story is kind of frustrating because this light is so bright. Oh my God. Um, because my mom is like, I love her, but she's kind of difficult person. Um, I'm also probably gonna have to. I'm gonna be moving around in this video. Maybe not. I don't know. Or maybe in the part two. I don't know. But so it's crazy though. It's a crazy story. Trying to keep my energy up. I just did a whole lot of stuff today, so I'm feeling kind of like fighting a nap, but it's too early for a damn nap. Too late for a nap, and too early to go to bed for me. But so my mom, she moved to Oakland, I think, in the late '70s or something, and yeah, so she met my dad, da 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 da, the '80s or late '70s, I don't know. So and they was living in East Oakland, and that's where I was born, actually in a house. Born in a house. I guess I was the only one that was born in a house. I don't know. And then I can't remember. And then so I'm an '80s baby. Hey. So um they moved. So my little sister was born in. They moved to North Oakland, like when my sister was like probably one or something. I don't know. She's like a year and some change younger than me. And then we started over the years. We started elementary school that was like 3 blocks from our house. Besides the summer schools and preschools that was in other places. That's a whole nother story. Um, so basically they let's turn that down. So they was in school. I mean, we went to school. Let's see, which was a harsh, dang on place. It was mostly black folks. A good amount of like different kind of other groups like Asians. Um, but it was mostly black folks. Um, over in that area, North Oakland Elementary School. It was called Santa Fe. I'm gonna name the school, but so it's not really there no more anyway. I think they named it something. I don't know, but so I couldn't stand school. I never could stand school my whole entire years in school. It was something to do in middle and high school, but I just couldn't stand the whole grueling process of getting up every day, having to go to school and dealing with people yelling or who knows what when you just want to kind of be in your own shell. That's kind of how so the reason why so what happened was with me in kindergarten because I went to preschool, but people this girl of not of not my race, not a person of color or whatever, all of a sudden didn't want to be my friend. That hurt my feelings a little bit. That was in preschool. Then, and I don't even know because that's preschool was like a lot of us there. Like I didn't really pay attention to the graphic like that, but the demographic. And then that's not really what hurt me that bad for school, but it did. But it was a collection of things. So my parents sometimes would let my grandma on my dad's side watch us, and I remember being like 4 and 3, and she was talking verbal abuse to me, and it wasn't not discipline; it was verbal abuse and down talking. Where she would say, I ain't gonna be nothing. Because I was kind of a crybaby a little bit. Um, I also kind of just wanted to be in my own little world, and it was like I don't know, but we would be playing, but then I would accidentally like hit the plant with the door or something like that while we playing, and she would like not jump on me, but jump at me about it. I'll be the one getting the most yelled at, but it was like, okay, heck yeah, sit your ass down. Oh, I didn't mean to say that. Dang, I hope they don't hold that against me. Sit your hiney down. Kid, you're doing too much. But it wasn't just that. It was like she constantly was doing too much. Like, um, when I did sit down and just get quiet because of being disciplined, she would still harass me and say I wouldn't be nothing. Uh, it was a lot. It was a lot. I don't know if she. I can't. I'm too. I was so young. I don't remember if she actually physically followed through with her physical threats, but it was more so the things she was saying that was like, "Oh, you're not gonna be nothing. You're not going to, I'm just like basically I'm gonna be a loser." She just spoke that into my young life. And in general, you don't do that to children. You don't speak down talkingness to children. You just show them what they should and could be doing and how great they can be and how better they can do if they're doing something bad. So she just was, and it was like ongoing. She wouldn't just leave me alone. This happened over the years too, but she ended up getting smashed on by other family members and stuff. 'Cause it wasn't just me, but she would definitely target me because I was more of a quiet to myself type of a person. I'm still like that. Even though I could still be a butterfly, social butterfly sometimes, I after so much energy I put out, I kind of get into myself. I could still be outside, be like, dang, I still want to be out here, but I think my mind is subconsciously shelling up, and I need to take it in. That's how I be feeling sometimes. People be like, "What's wrong?" Or like I just be like, "Oh, I'm just chilling." So, and more of an artist, my art back there too. If you didn't see it before, um, but I was more on the road with it when I was younger. I took like a 2 decade break from doing art, but that's another story later on. So fast forward a little bit, just a little tiny bit to kindergarten in first grade. So I get to school for some reason I just start clamming up or not freezing up necessarily, but where I just didn't talk like voice wise. Like when the first day I remember trying to talk, but then I just didn't want to talk, and then I just was mute. So later on, like I guess in the later not later elementary grades, they was like I'm selective mutism in high school. They all the way through high school, so I didn't really talk to a lot of people or at all through my whole K through 12. I talked to more people in high school though, but in elementary, I didn't barely talk. My sisters was tired of people asking, "Why your sister don't talk? Why your sister don't talk?" And it's like, I don't know, she just ain't talking. And I had like maybe one good friend, and people. I don't really hold no stuff against no elementary or any kids of any age unless they take that mess into adulthood. So elementary was pretty stressful. I was very self conscious because I was shy and I didn't talk, and I also didn't want to talk. I like to just sit and soak up sunlight in the bench because it was cold all the time. To me, I remember in first grade, this boy punched my stomach hecka hard. I was about to say the other H word because y'all know how we talk out here. But I don't know if I can say that on this video. But yeah, he punched me in my stomach hard, and I was crying. And somebody's parent who was a yard teacher, they call them yard teachers, was like, "Are you okay? What's wrong?" I remember her. She her kids went to the school too, but I ain't gonna put that out there. She was one of them young moms that had it going on or whatever. If they ever see this video, they'll know who I'm talking about. But I think she had three kids. I don't know, but one of them he was in my grade, but then our grades had got separated for a second. And then the other one was in my sister grade that was a year older, but she was supposed to be in a grade above that too. But for some reason, my elementary school wanted to be weird and play with us, but they put me back in my right grade. But anyway, that's the kid stuff, elementary. So my parents, they were married for hmm. So my parents was married, and they were married. They got married before all of my la- the my they got married after when my mother moved from here to Detroit. They met each other out here and got married. Then they had her last three kids, which was sister that's a year older than me and my sister that's a year younger than me. So they was married, and my mother was pretty cool while she was married. I could tell she had some type of still some bitterness from other things going on, but she was still happier in that marriage than she was later on. So, um, they was married, and then um, fast forward to me being in the sixth grade. We had this teacher. He was kind of one of the teachers that'll wake you up, wake your game up. One of the few black teachers in the area of that side of town. And he was not playing. But anyway, that's besides the point for this story. Um, so I think the year before, when I was in fifth grade, yeah. So when I was in fifth grade, my mother, we went to Disneyland like 2 years prior to me being in fifth grade, or 1 year prior to that. I can't exactly remember. But when I was in fifth grade, um, 95, 90, 94, 95. Yeah, that's when I was in fifth grade. So yeah, that year my mother decided to get a job. No, she decided to get a job at the end of that year. She applied for this yellow bus job, and her coworker, like, she got the job, she did the training and got the job like that August, and then in September, because our schools used to start in September right after Labor Day, not all that weeks before Labor Day or nothing. So she got the job and she started immediately the week after Labor Day, but a couple of days after Labor Day though. So cause she still was doing some cleaning and training. But she did start that week though. So I'm walking home from school. It was probably like was this sixth grade? No, this was fifth grade. Everything transpired in fifth grade, I believe. Yeah, this was fifth grade. So yeah. It was fifth grade. I'm sorry. So this is the beginning of my fifth grade school year. So I'm walking to school. This is the first week of school. I don't remember what day of the week it was. It might have been Wednesday, Tuesday, or Wednesday. I don't think it was the very first day of school. I think it was that Wednesday. And we used to get out early on Wednesdays. That's when they started doing the early Wednesdays. It was like my fifth grade year. And this was 93, 94. No, excuse me, 92, 93 school year. Because 93, 94 was my sixth grade year. And then I went to middle school. 'Cause I remember my eighth grade year, they was like class of 96 in the mix for whoever graduated in 96. So, yeah, so this is 92, 93 school year. So, yeah, this was the year after we went to Disneyland. We had saved money in a jar and whatever other money my parents put together. So, anyway, but that's that. So, I'm walking from school and um, my mother is cleaning or doing something to this yellow bus she had parked in the driveway, and this man is right there. I don't even know who this man is. I know my dad was at work. He got off at about 4. So I don't remember if we got off early. Did we get off early? It felt like it was kind of early. I think I was there about 2 o'clock. I don't know because it was still daylight savings. I can't remember, but anyway, it was an early day because my dad get off at 4, or he gets home by 4. So um, she was like, "Yeah, this is my coworker. He's just helping me say hi." And I said hi, but I was just like, "Okay," and I didn't think nothing else of it. Then, some time passed by. He started calling the house, and he said, "I remember the name he said that day." He was like, "My name is." Let's name him. Um, I'm gonna name him Sanders. So no, because that's actually the name of somebody, beloved classmate. I'm not going, and that's not their first name. I'm gonna name him Sandy. Okay, even though that don't have nothing to do with it. It just the first name rhymes with too many things. Y'all gonna be like, oh, that's obvious. I damn near don't care though because you need to be exposed. I don't know if he's still alive or not, but anyway, um, let's say so. Mr. Sandy, let's call him Mr. Sandy. He kept calling the house like every day, every other day, asking for my mom. We had landlines at that time, ring. And you walk to the phone, run to the phone, answer it. We didn't have caller ID yet. No, that came like 10 years later. So, or like 7 years later, something like that. So, he was like calling the house. I thought it was strange that he kept calling the house. And it was like my mother had no shame about giving this man the home number, but at the same time, I'm thinking it's just her coworker. But then she started staying out late. And we was like, what the hell? Or not just staying out late, but she would dress up and go out. And my dad would be like, what are you doing? It's like he didn't say nothing at first, the first couple times, because we thinking she going to. She played it off for like roughly 5 or 6 months, saying she going to a work event, to a holiday party. But I think the holiday party is when my dad, because she had tried to pull something off after the holiday party, or the guy. I don't know how he found out that it was for sure. He asked me and my sisters and myself, what was up with that man keep calling the house, and then we kept seeing her like leave with him, and we kind of we like I was yeah, I think I was 10. I was 10. I knew what was up. I knew what was up. I might have been 11. No, I was 10 going on 11. So I knew what was up. You can't pull nothing past no 10-year-old. Well, we know what's up with the world. We know about cheaters. We know about this. We know about thieves. Like, come on now. You might not know all the game of everything, but you know a lot. Like, you know how to comprehend a lot of things at 10 years old. So, because my mom, oh, anyway. um, so my mom basically became pretty neglectful simultaneously. Um, so yeah, so when my dad, um, she, he basically was like sitting there one day, I guess when she came in, and was like, I'm not buying none of this going out. Da, 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 da. I remember some of the conversation, I don't remember the exact words. And then she's like, I don't gotta tell you nothing. Why am I laughing? But that's how like wicked she be or whatever. Like depending on what it is. Like sometimes some people you like I had to tell somebody like a couple months ago that had the nerve to ask me how much cash I'm getting weekly for, and you're not even dating me like that. You fake was trying to date me, and you had the nerve to ask me what type of economics I'm getting when we already doing everything separately. We're already you didn't really like commit to me or nothing. So why are you asking me about my personal income as a woman? And I'm sitting here giving you all my time that I do have. I feel like so when I said, shoot, I mean, I'm not the richest person or whatever I said at that time. And I was like, wait a minute, none of your, you meant for business. And he was like, okay, like, because what gave him the audacity to ask me that when you are a one of those dudes that seem like you like to leech off of women, and you don't even there's no reason for you to feel entitled to even ask me that question like that or demand, and he was in a demanding way. It was so weird. Something that's a whole nother story. I'm not even gonna air that person out like that. But I'm just saying like sometimes you do gotta be like, it ain't none of your dang business, but with her saying that like you're married and you like all of a sudden just turn on your husband, and we knew our dad wasn't doing nothing. We knew his work routine. We talked to him all the time. It's like, yes, we know people be, but my mother sunk that, like, you know how you just be like, you just want to F something up. My mother F that up. Okay. So because we saw everything. And so basically, um yeah, so she was like, we're getting a divorce after, because they had like a verbal argument, and she was putting the extras on it and running around the house trying to act like he was chasing her. It's like, I just want to talk, like antagonizing. She's pretty much like, I talked to a few people over the years, doctors and stuff. They was like, she's pretty much a narcissist or whatnot. So um so she pretty much narcissistic the effed up that relationship that she had with him. And then so that he ended up having to leave a couple of months after that. They didn't sleep in the same room no more. She made him sleep basically in the room that we be watching TV in, which is the room next to the living room, because it was a big walk hall, like open thing area. It was a small. That house didn't have more than 3 bedrooms. It was really a 2.5 bedroom, but all 7 of us was in that house with one bathroom. And so yeah, we had a big old backyard though with 3 fruit tree. No, one, two, three, 4 fruit trees. And we used to do. My dad showed us how to do gardens. So if I could ever get a piece, anyway. So just. mm, That's why I call this channel the Pink Black Historian, because I could tell you history of Oakland from the 80s and the 90s, and from the elders that was before me. And that's just for this channel, because I have other things going on that I don't have on the channels that's deeper than that. But anyway, so yeah, he had to. She made him leave that February, which I was still in the fifth grade. I remember he left in February on like a Saturday or a Friday. It had to be a Saturday because he wasn't at work. He was very sad or whatever, and so he ended up going to his grandma house for a second in Frisco because our great grandma had a house in Frisco. That's a whole nother story of wickedness from from his mom and her other daughter, which is my auntie. Wicked family on that side too. I don't know, something about, I guess guys be liking wicked women or women that's not all the way genuine with the nice with the the genuineness of sincere care and what I'm saying? It's like the wicked streak is wicked, not mean streak, but wicked streak. Like I know some people that just have a mean streak. They might just be mean, but they don't mean no harm. You know what I'm saying? So, but some people like they get it confused. You don't want to deal with wickedness. Everybody can be a little mean sometimes. You should be sometimes, but wicked is crazy. So, let's see. I'm back. So, um, so anyway, wicked women, da 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 da. That's why I left them at. So yeah, they split up like in 93, 94. And so it was the end of my fifth grade school year. And I guess my dad, I don't know, he coped with it. And then we had to deal with going to different places, going to see him at grandma's house, and I don't know. I'm kind of mad at him. I think sometimes when people separate from their family, they kind of like don't have the energy for their kids the way they used to have them. But he still was there though. But it's just different vibe wise. But so that happened. In my sixth grade year, I had the super militant teacher. My sister had him the year before me, and so that year I was extra because it was like that was the year that I had went through, how girls go through their changes and stuff like that. And so I was extra like I don't want to say timid that year, but I started getting real like awkwardly timid and stuff that year. And my other sister wasn't there for me to talk to no more at the school. But in elementary school, younger than that, I did used to get bullied by girls. And I used to be so fed up with it. It was so much. Sometimes I would like remember, well, it happened like once where I remember this girl said something slick and was bullying me with one of her other family members weeks before that. And then I had ended up clawing her leg. Like, no, it wasn't even weeks. It was like maybe 3 days prior. And I still remembered it. I was a kid. I was like 4 or 5 years old at that time, maybe 6 or 7. But after that, I'm like, I'm not finna. If the fight ain't going down right then and there, it ain't going down. So I don't really be fighting. But yeah, I used to get bullied. This other girl that was bigger and older than me was also like throwing me around in the bathroom and stuff. And then, but she stopped because we had a parent teacher meeting about it. So yeah, I used to get bullied pretty bad in elementary, but it stopped in like when I turned like 8, it stopped physically. Then it just the verbal bullying went up. Well, sixth grade wasn't that bad. It was just people being like, "Oh, she's not talking. We're just gonna be nice to her, but we're not really hanging out." Oh no, actually, I was hanging out with people after school. I was talking to friends after school. That's when I started hanging out with a couple of people. Actually, more so middle school though. Middle school was a different stage, so I still was getting bullied. In middle school, I started getting bullied by boys that wasn't even in my grade slash class. Now that I think about it, the girls would say slick stuff, but some of them would be real. They were middle school was a different mannerism. Like I think middle school people actually start practicing what they're being taught. Elementary, you still trying to figure stuff out. Middle school, you're like, we shouldn't be mean to her. But it was a lot of hatred. Like I remember this girl used to be jealous of these twins, but it was because the dude she was kind of messing with was saying how fine they was. Like y'all is in the seventh and eighth grade, but that's when we started having crushes and all that crazy stuff. So yeah, my the schools back in the day for me, my city is crazy. So yeah. Um, but anyway, back to when I was 11, going on 12. My mother, so my dad left. I remember he left that February. And if I asked him to look at the paperwork and it wasn't February, then I don't know where my brain is at because I remember them days vividly. If it wasn't February, it was March 1994. I don't think it was 93. It's a small chance it could be 93, but I think it was 1994. Um, because my whole household turned upside down after that, and my dad wasn't there, so it had to be 94, maybe 93. We was too calm in 93. 94, when I went in sixth grade, heck of crazy stuff started happening. Wait a minute. Yeah, because Tupac died, what, gone in uh 96. Yeah, and then you're in middle school. The way we had our middle school, you could choose to go to sixth grade in middle school, or you still finish your elementary off in sixth grade. So seventh grade, 94, 95, eighth grade, 95. Yeah, because, yep. So, yeah, that's exactly. So, anyway, I'm sorry, y'all. I didn't mean to do the math right there. But, so, uh, I hope, did I get to the meat of the story? Not really. So, yeah, um, my mom, so she moved the man in. She moved the man in. They did a Cinco de Mayo. She made us go to a Cinco de Mayo park event. Uh, Maybe it was closer to because it might have been March or April when my dad had to leave because I remember it was only being a few days or a few weeks maybe of a time difference between when my dad had to leave and when my mother moved that man in. And we was not feeling him. We was not feeling him. I know I for sure wasn't feeling him. She had us meet up again or hang out with him at Cinco de Mayo event. Excuse me. And then my sister was kind of harassing my mom, not like that, but like saying, "How do you feel?" Like when my dad had to leave, she was like, "How do you feel?" She's like, "I feel fine." And then when she let the men start coming over, or when we met the men, she was like, "How do you feel?" Like something. She was like, "I feel great." And but I remember at the Cinco de Mayo, I was like, she was like, "How do you guys feel about Sandy?" And I was like, that's exactly what I did. Like, I just kept making that noise over and over again. I don't know, but just like, like, and my sister's like, that means she don't like him, or she not really feeling him, or something she said like that. And I was just shrugged my shoulders, because I was like 11, going on 12, or I had just turned, I think I had just, no, I had just turned 12, because this was 94, something like that. No, it wasn't. I was 11. I was 11. I was 11. So, yeah, so that happened. And yeah, she moved him in. I believe it was. It had to be. It was my sixth grade. It was my fifth and the end of the fifth grade and sixth grade school year. She felt so comfortable moving that man in that quick, and that ain't even his house. That was my dad's house and my mom's house. They bought, but they anyway. I found out later that my dad, like I want to say roughly 3 to 4 years ago, that my dad was still doing some economic stuff for my mom. I'm like, what? Because he was used to say he still loved her and all this and that, even though he had moved on, uh, and met other people and stuff like that throughout the years. But she kind of did, but she would never like the nicer guys. She just always kept. So if y'all want to hear the part two, which is more meat and more craziness, tune in for part two. Um, I hope I'm relating to some people because in reality, this is not even. I was really about to make this about what happened with me at 16 or 17, um, because of all of this. But it does have a lot to do with how my mom, uh, you know, chose a man over her family, basically. And she just is a problem to this. I don't know about to this day, but sometimes it's still some issues. So it caused a lot of deep rooted, immediate family problems. Like we already know the stuff from the plantations and stuff like that. Like, by the way, I'm the fifth generation on my mom's side from Mother Africa. So yeah, I do my educational stuff on my other like channels or platforms or whatever. So we ain't gonna do all that right here, but just know that I am a historian, etc., etc. But yeah, if this part of this story or all of it can relate to people, I'm glad. But it's a lot. It sounds mainly so I'm talking about my parents' relationship, but I'm also talking about how it affected the children and me as an individual, and how like even like at that time we was house rich, cash poor. We had like beans and rice weekly, spaghetti. But it was also my mom's mindset of the way we ate and her mindset, like, yeah, we didn't have it all like that, but we still could have had a better mindset of doing better, of coming up, like what to do with ourselves, what to be in life. So it's like I have like a lot of issues with my mom's self selfishness and mindset, more so of just making us stay in a box no matter what she decided to do. And she didn't even really like have fun, or like she didn't even, I don't know what. I'm gonna just keep a lot of this to myself because now it's like I'm looking at her upbringing and her mentality, and I know why she's the way she is, as far as being kind of like narcissistic. Is her upbringing is like, I know some people are narcissistic because they go through abuse and stuff, but she's narcissistic for probably some a bad relationship and crazy people, but also because of her upbringing, of how they was raised with the type of the type of church background they have. She's the youngest. I'm just talking about the different, how you do it. It's called psychological analysis, where somebody's background, you can kind of like see what kind of person they are. But if when it comes to like some people that are kind of like holier than thou, in a sense of they can do no wrong. They can just pray for forgiveness, and just keep being a certain way. They don't never acknowledge their wrongdoings. that's what we were dealing with all the time. And it's like you talk about it, even anything she do recently that's messed up is kind of like she act like she don't even remember, or she'll act like she wasn't wrong, and it's just crazy. It's like it's just crazy. I don't understand it at all. It's pretty good. I had to distance myself from that. I couldn't distance myself from that on and off over time, and then I had she forced me away when I was younger, and then also it just I didn't want to, that you need your mom, or so you think, or so it seems like, but your mom might not be righteous for you, righteous to her children. So like when I revealed this to a couple of my sisters, they made it seem like I was being complaintful, but I'm like, the way she raised has affected me in a way where it went into my adulthood through my 20s. And she even tried to sabotage some things. Uh, during just as recent as 2021. So, but I didn't allow it, and it was really frustrating. It hindered a lot of things in my life, and so it's difficult. And she wasn't on, as far as we know, she wasn't on drugs. You know how some people might have been on drugs before they started their family. We don't know, um, because y'all know them time frames. But I don't think she was. She just associated with some of those people church wise that might have did. But she loved to exploit people, especially her own children. So I took a lot of like weird slack from her. Um, Pretty wicked. So part two, basically, yes, that's the part two is going to be more so about how it's going to be about how yeah, how what led to her me in my later teenage years, her making me homeless. um and it was a struggle on and off for at least 6 years, maybe more. But yeah, she just didn't care no more after certain things had took place. She didn't even, so before I end this, when it wasn't even a year that my dad had left, and she was just like, she just kept harassing with us being young, 12, 13, like, y'all gone with your dad, y'all gone. But my dad, for the first year, he didn't even have a stable spot to stay at. We just had to visit him and come back home within 24 hours. And then he would stay between his grandma house and his mom house. And his mom was still verbally abusive and doing too much. So that was uncomfortable for all of us. But it was definitely uncomfortable for me. She would just barge in the bathroom. This is when I'm hitting the P word of just starting, like barely starting. So yeah, yes, it was when so yeah, it was the end of my fifth grade year on to see, because that summer he started staying. Sometimes he found it easier to stay at his mom house to go to work from than staying in the San Francisco grandma house. And she was doing too much, barging in the bathroom. And this is the year that a young girl starts developing for me that year. My sister was she on the swim team? I think she had just started the swim team. Um, my little sister. And so she was using that. Like, I guess that was her coping mechanism and fun for her. And yeah, so the second year he was able to get his apartment, his first apartment, not his first apartment, but his apartment, but it was a small one bedroom. He had three daughters. And sometimes we might have friends or something. Like, from the neighborhood. Because he was from the neighborhood. I mean, he was cool with everybody from our neighborhood that we was growing up at. So it's like you have this one bedroom, and we made it work when we stayed over there. But then it was like we could tell that he was feeling cramped, and it was like not a vibe like that. Sometimes it wasn't about it being a vibe, but it was just like we just we would go over there like almost every day after school sometimes, and we would stay some summers, but it was like it wasn't. And then they had an arrangement where we could go there whenever we want, but we wasn't to stay more than a week or two at a time. Because my dad said that the house was supposed to be for us to go to school easier, have easier access to school and stuff like that. Even though the high school actually was the same distance bus wise, pretty much, because he stayed up in some hills, so it's like feels longer to walk there. But it was in the high school was in the middle of their house, Oakland Tech High School, duh. But the high school was in the middle of both of those places. But we only had to catch one bus to go to our mom to the original house. We would have had to catch two, but no, actually we could have still caught one bus. You just had to walk a little bit more. But anyway, we went to actually no, we could have caught but the other bus would go all around before it got to his house. That was so weird how it was. No, we could have caught it like that. I don't know. We was, young mind. You don't really orchestrate how the directions all the way like that. But anyway, them days, that was back in the day. And yeah, that was pretty solid. I think that's it for that. Middle school. So yeah, middle school was when stuff started getting weird, which was a year and a half after, or a little bit less than a year and a half after he came there. So when I turned 14, it's like dun dun dun. So if y'all can stay tuned for part two, when I turned when I was 14, while my mother had this man staying with us, even though they was fighting back and forth, and she would make him leave sometimes. But it was over a 8 to 9 year time period. Even though she saw other people in between their breaks, but she wasn't feeling them, and her pride was so high, she definitely wasn't trying to get back with my dad. So and admit her wrong and all of that. And he was so upset with how it messed him up and how he had to start all over and all of that. So I don't know. They both still alive right now, but yeah, stay tuned for part two. I'm gonna try to upload it today. I just need to do a couple of things. I was like doing a lot today. Um, yeah, I was at the gym and everything, so I wanted to switch some things up, and I have to do a couple of things. So I will be back. But thank y'all if y'all stayed this long. I hope y'all had y'all popcorn, your snacks, or if you're cleaning up or whatever, to hear this story. I hope it's like therapeutically related to somebody, because it's like it could be a hard thing to deal with, especially when you have a parent that is like that and you have to deal with them for half of your life, and uh you have to like you just want to make sure you're doing what you feel is right, even though you do gotta separate yourself from toxic family members to fulfill what you need for you and your future, your children and stuff, for your peace of mind and stuff like that, because you didn't ask to be here. So, and I am in my early 40s, and I'm still dealing with this like in different ways. So Yeah, but I will see y'all in a minute. Thank you.